In the almost surreal stillness of dawn, when the world seemed suspended between dream and reality, a solitary figure walked along the deserted beach. The cold ocean breeze caressed his face, carrying the salty scent of waves gently breaking on the sand. It was a moment of introspection, a pause in time where each step seemed to echo with deeper meaning. In this setting, the walker's mind was filled with thoughts, memories, and hopes. The first rays of the sun began to paint the sky with shades of orange and pink, a palette announcing the start of a new day. This natural spectacle, though commonplace, never failed to evoke a sense of smallness and, at the same time, a connection to something greater. It was as if the entire universe conspired to remind him that, despite uncertainties and challenges, life always offered new opportunities.
As he walked, his mind revisited important moments, those crossroads that define the course of a life. He recalled choices made, paths not taken, loves and losses. Each memory carried with it an emotional weight, a mix of longing and gratitude. The past and present intertwined in a subtle dance, revealing lessons learned and scars that had become part of who he was. The sound of the waves was constant, a reminder of life's endless flow.
He wondered how often people truly paused to listen, to feel the world around them rather than merely passing through it. How often was the beauty of the moment overlooked in pursuit of something seemingly more urgent, but not necessarily more important? There was an urgency to slow down, to be present, to find meaning in the small things. The human mind is a vast ocean of thoughts and emotions, sometimes murky, other times clear. In that instant, he pondered purpose, what truly mattered in the grand scheme of things. Questions accumulated without easy answers. Yet, there was one certainty. The search for meaning was a continuous journey, a path everyone traverses in unique and personal ways. The sun, now higher in the sky, bathed everything in golden light. There was something almost magical about this moment of transition, when night yielded to day, when shadows retreated and clarity took hold.
It was a perfect metaphor for life, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light always found a way to seep through. Near the water's edge, he stopped and took a deep breath, feeling the fresh breeze and the sea spray on his face. It was a simple gesture, but laden with meaning. A reminder that, despite everything, he was alive, present, and capable of feeling, thinking, and changing. The power of transformation was always available, waiting to be discovered and harnessed. And then, as the day progressed, he realized he was not alone. Other people began to appear in the distance, each with their own stories, their own quests and challenges. There was something comforting in knowing that, although each journey is unique, everyone shared the same fundamental walk in the search for meaning and connection. In that moment, he understood that the true beauty of life lay in the ability to connect, to share moments, to learn and grow with others. It was a simple yet profound understanding that illuminated the path ahead. The beach, with its vastness and serenity, was the perfect setting for this revelation. The walk continued, but now there was a new lightness in his steps, a sense of renewal and hope. The future, still uncertain, seemed less intimidating, more of an adventure waiting to be lived than a challenge to be feared. The world was full of possibilities, and he was ready to embrace them with courage and determination. With each step, he felt more connected to the present moment, more aware of what truly mattered.
the waves continued their eternal ebb and flow, a natural symphony echoing in his heart, reminding him that life is a continuous cycle of beginnings and endings, each bringing its own beauty and meaning.
And so, as the sun climbed higher in the sky, he walked toward the unknown with an open heart and an indomitable spirit, ready for whatever life had in store. In that old neighborhood, where every corner seemed to hold a secret, life moved at a curious pace, as if time itself had learned to walk differently there. Mornings were always filled with a sun that painted the facades of the old houses in gold, and people, in their routines, greeted each other with a wave, a smile.
It was a place where everyone knew each other, or at least pretended to. It was in this environment that Clara, a young woman with a restless spirit and keen eyes, began to notice details that went unnoticed by most. She had always been curious since she was a child, spending hours watching ants carry leaves larger than themselves. Now, as an adult, her curiosity turned to people and their stories. One morning, as she was walking to work, Clara noticed something different. A small shop that seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, nestled between Mr. Alvaro's bakery and Mrs. Esther's stationery store. It was an antique shop, full of objects that looked like they had stepped out of a fairy tale. In the window, an old clock marked an impossible time, and a mirror framed by bronze arabesques reflected the street in a strangely distorted way. Clara couldn't resist and walked in. The interior was even more fascinating than the window suggested. There was the scent of aged wood and a soft sound, like distant music played on a gramophone. Behind the counter, an elderly man with a gray beard and bright eyes greeted her with an enigmatic smile. He seemed to know more about Clara than she did herself. The conversation flowed naturally, and Clara found herself revealing details of her life as if she were speaking with an old friend. The man, who introduced himself as Anselmo, told stories about every object in the shop, as if they were characters from a book. A music box that, according to him, held the memories of a lost love. A pair of gloves that had belonged to a lady of the court who had mysteriously disappeared. Clara was enchanted, yet something about the shop left her unsettled. It was as if the objects were watching her, waiting for her to understand them. As she was about to leave, Anselmo offered her an old compass, saying it would always point to where her heart should go. Clara laughed but accepted the gift, feeling there was something special about that compass. In the days that followed, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the shop and Anselmo. The compass, which she kept in her bag, seemed to have a life of its own. No matter which way she turned it, the needle always pointed somewhere other than north. Intrigued, Clara decided to follow the path indicated by the compass. That was how she discovered a part of the neighborhood she had never noticed before. A small square hidden among old buildings. In the center, a fountain with crystal clear waters reflected the sky like a mirror. Sitting on one of the benches, Clara met Miguel, a young artist who spent his days there, drawing and observing the world. Miguel was the opposite of Clara, calm and introspective, but there was something about him that attracted her, perhaps the way he saw beauty in everything. The two quickly became friends, united by curiosity and the desire to learn more about that magical place the compass had revealed. Every day brought a new discovery, a new mystery to explore. Miguel showed Clara how to see the world differently, through the colors and shapes he captured in his drawings. And Clara, in turn, inspired him with her stories and infectious enthusiasm. But the compass didn't stop pointing, and Clara knew there was more to discover. One night, after a long day of exploration, Clara dreamed of Anselmo. In the dream, he told her that the compass would lead her to where she most needed to be, and that sometimes what we seek is closer than we imagine. She awoke with a sense of urgency and decided she needed to return to the antique shop. When she arrived, the shop was gone, as if it had never existed. In its place was only a wall covered in ivy. Disoriented, Clara tried to understand what had happened. Miguel, noticing her distress, comforted her by saying that perhaps the shop was one of those places that appear only when we need them. Clara clung to that idea, though part of her wished for more concrete answers. But the compass continued to guide her, and she decided to trust her instincts. Over time, Clara realized that the compass wasn't pointing to physical places, but rather to moments and people that would mark her life. She realized that by following that needle, she was getting closer to herself and what truly mattered. Her friendship with Miguel deepened into something more profound, and together they discovered that the true mystery lay in how we choose to live our lives, in the courage to follow our hearts.
And so, in that neighborhood where time seemed to walk differently, Clara found not only answers, but also the magic she was seeking. In the twilight of the sleeping city, Clara walked through the deserted streets, feeling the cold wind whip against her face. The night, with its elongated shadows and whispered secrets, seemed to envelop her in a cloak of mystery. Each step echoed in the silence, a constant reminder that something was about to happen.
There was a restlessness in the air, a sense that the world as she knew it was on the brink of transformation. Clara had always been a silent observer, someone who saw beyond appearances and understood the nuances that escaped inattentive eyes. That night, however, she felt as if the universe itself conspired to reveal something she could not yet fully comprehend. As she walked, her thoughts turned to the old stories her grandmother used to tell. Tales of forgotten times where the supernatural and the everyday intertwined in intricate ways. Stories of a world where magic was as real as the air we breathe, where portals to other dimensions opened in unexpected places. Clara always listened with fascination, but also with subtle skepticism, believing such tales belonged more to the realm of imagination than reality. Yet lately, she had begun to sense there was more truth in those stories than she had ever imagined. What if myths were, in fact, echoes of a lost truth, fragments of a reality that escaped our understanding? Lost in her reflections, Clara almost didn't notice the figure in front of her until she was just a few steps away. He was a man with a peculiar appearance, with eyes that seemed to hold an ocean of secrets. He observed her with an intensity that made her pause, as if trying to decipher every hidden thought in her mind. "You feel it, don't you?" he asked, his voice carrying a tone of ancient knowledge. Clara hesitated before responding, aware that this conversation might lead her into unknown territories. The man smiled enigmatically. "The world is changing," he continued. "What was lost will be found, and those who are ready will see beyond the veil." What was Clara to do with this revelation? Curiosity and fear competed within her, each trying to prevail over the other. Was she truly ready to accept that the world she knew was only a fraction of a much larger reality? And if she was, how could she prepare for what was to come? These questions danced in her mind as the mysterious man disappeared into the night, leaving behind only the promise of an uncertain future. Clara knew that something within her had been awakened that night, a thirst for knowledge that could no longer be satisfied by simple answers.
In the days that followed, Clara delved into research, devouring books and accounts that had previously gone unnoticed. She discovered stories of people who, like her, had felt the call of the unknown, who had walked paths between the real and the fantastic. Each discovery brought her closer to the truth she sought, but also left her with more questions than answers. What did it mean to see beyond the veil? And why did it seem she had always been destined for this quest? Was destiny truly something that guided our lives? Or was it all a matter of choices and chance? Clara's quest led her to unexpected places, both geographically and within her own mind. She visited ancient libraries, consulted folklore experts, and even attended clandestine meetings of people who shared her beliefs. In each encounter, she felt she was unraveling a part of the puzzle, but the complete picture was still beyond her reach. There were moments when she doubted herself, questioning if she was wasting her time on a meaningless pursuit. Yet something inside her insisted she was on the right path, that each piece of the puzzle had a purpose. It was at one of these meetings that Clara met Anna, a woman whose presence seemed to radiate a calm and profound wisdom. Anna spoke with the authority of someone who had lived many lives and possessed knowledge that transcended time. "You're close," Anna told Clara, her eyes shining with an inner light. "But remember, the path to truth is not linear. Sometimes we need to lose ourselves to truly find ourselves." Anna's words resonated with Clara, providing her with a new understanding. Perhaps the quest was not about finding definitive answers, but about the journey itself, about the transformation that occurred along the way. Clara began to realize that the search for truth was a delicate dance between the known and the unknown, between what could be seen and what was hidden. She learned to trust her intuition more, to follow the subtle clues the world offered her. In a moment of clarity, she understood that the veil the mysterious man mentioned was not an external barrier, but an internal one. It was the sum of her own limitations, her doubts and fears that prevented her from seeing reality in its entirety. This revelation brought a sense of freedom, a recognition that the power to change her perception had been within her all along. But what does it really mean to see beyond the veil? Is it a matter of opening one's eyes to what has always been there? Or is it a deeper transformation of perception and understanding? Clara realized that the answer could not be found in books or the words of others, but in her own experience and living. True change, she understood, comes from within, from a place of acceptance and courage to embrace the unknown. And as Clara continued her journey, she knew that although she might never find all the answers, the quest itself was the reward. What would you do if you discovered that reality is just one among many? Would you be willing to explore beyond the boundaries of the known, even if it meant confronting your own fears and insecurities? Clara was, and that made all the difference. On that day, the sky was painted with a blue that seemed almost unreal, as if a whimsical artist had decided to exaggerate the saturation of the colors. There was something in the air that promised change, like a slight electricity that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end for no apparent reason. Maria walked along the old dirt trail that wound between the lush hills, each step raising a small cloud of golden dust that floated in the sun. She often came here, seeking refuge from the city's incessant tumult and finding in nature a peace that seemed to elude her hectic daily life. However, today there was something different, something she couldn't immediately identify, but that made her feel a growing anticipation. As she walked,
Maria wondered about the stories those hills could tell. Stories from ancient times, of people who might have walked that land long before she ever dreamed of existing. There were rumors that the area was rich in legends and mysteries, of buried treasures and inexplicable apparitions. But she always considered these stories mere fantasies, created to entertain tourists and fuel the fascination with mysteries. Yet, that day, her mind was open to possibilities, and she allowed herself to imagine what might be hidden there in plain sight. Suddenly, a glimmer caught her attention in the distance, near a gnarled tree that seemed to have been sculpted by time and wind. Intrigued, Maria approached, her steps quick and determined. As she got closer, she noticed the glimmer came from something half buried in the ground. Kneeling, she began to carefully dig with her hands, feeling the texture of the damp earth beneath her fingers. Little by little, she uncovered what seemed to be a metallic object, ancient and covered in intricate engravings she couldn't identify. Cleaning the surface with a cloth, Maria realized she was in the presence of something extraordinary. The object seemed to be a small artifact, perhaps a piece of jewelry or a talisman, but what truly intrigued her were the inscriptions that appeared to tell a forgotten story. Determined to unravel the mystery, Maria took the object to a local expert, a historian known for his passion for ancient artifacts. The man, upon seeing the object, was visibly moved. He explained that the piece was from an ancient civilization, lost in the mists of time, and that the inscriptions recounted the story of a people who had inhabited that region centuries ago. According to him, the talisman was a symbol of protection, used to ward off evil spirits and bring luck to its bearer. Maria was fascinated by the discovery, but even more intrigued by what it might mean. Could there be more treasures hidden there, waiting to be uncovered? Could the stories of apparitions and mysteries have some truth to them? The idea of unearthing the past and bringing forgotten stories to light ignited a flame in her heart. She spent the following months exploring the area, researching in old archives and talking to older residents who shared with her legends and tales passed down through generations. During her explorations, Maria discovered other objects, each telling a different part of the story of that ancient civilization. She found fragments of pottery, stone tools, and even an old diary, written in a language no one could read anymore. With the historian's help, she managed to translate parts of the diary, which revealed the daily life, beliefs, and challenges faced by those people. The pages spoke of a fertile land full of life, but also of difficult times, of wars, and of a mysterious disease that had decimated the population. Each new discovery was like a piece of a puzzle, and Maria felt she was getting closer to completing the picture. She realized that the ancient stories held more truth than she had imagined, and that the past was always there, waiting to be rediscovered. Maria's dedication eventually attracted the attention of archaeologists and historians who joined her in exploring the area. Together, they managed to piece together a more complete picture of the lost civilization, revealing to the world its rich culture and legacy. Maria's story and her discoveries became known, inspiring others to seek their own mysteries and to value the richness of the past. She had not only managed to unravel an ancient enigma, but also to renew interest in history and the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. On that day when she found the talisman, Maria could not have imagined she was about to embark on a journey that would change her life and the way she saw the world around her.
And so, with each new discovery, she continued to walk the path of life, knowing there were still many mysteries waiting to be unveiled. The night was unusually silent, as if the world were holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Marta walked through the deserted streets, each step echoing like a whisper on the pavement. The cold wind cut against her face, but she didn't mind. Her mind was too preoccupied with the events of the past few hours. Since she found the mysterious letter at her door, her life had taken an unexpected turn. The letter had no sender, just enigmatic instructions that led her there, to the heart of the sleeping city. As she walked, Marta recalled the words of the letter, trying to find some hidden meaning. Follow the light that never goes out, where silence speaks louder, said the line that echoed in her mind. She knew it was no coincidence that she was there. Something important was about to happen. Destiny guided her to an old abandoned building, its windows broken and walls covered in graffiti. Marta hesitated for a moment, doubt threatening to paralyze her. But curiosity was stronger. She pushed the rusty door, which creaked in protest, revealing a large, dark hall. The only source of light came from a chandelier in the center, strangely intact and bright, as if defying the abandonment around it. Marta approached, feeling a mix of fascination and apprehension. That's when she heard a low noise, almost imperceptible, coming from one of the dark corners of the room. Her heart raced, and she forced herself to stay calm. Slowly she moved toward the source of the sound, and what she found left her breathless. There, sitting on the floor amidst the debris, was a man she recognized immediately. It was Enrique, an old schoolmate who had disappeared years ago without a trace. His eyes, once full of life, were now dark and weary. He looked up as he noticed her presence, a slight smile forming on his lips. "Marta," he said, his hoarse voice breaking the silence. "I knew you would come." Confused, Marta crouched down beside him. "What's happening, Enrique? Why are you here?" He sighed, as if carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. "There are things you need to know, things no one ever told you. I didn't disappear by chance. I was forced to hide, to live in the shadows." His words hit her like a punch. She had always known something was wrong with his disappearance, but she had never imagined something like this. But why? Who's behind this? Enrique hesitated, looking around as if he feared being overheard. "There is an organization," he started. "Something big, controlling more than you can imagine. And I discovered secrets they didn't want revealed." Marta felt a chill run down her spine. The night, which had once seemed merely shrouded in mystery, now became dangerous. "You're saying they'll do anything to keep this secret?" "Exactly," he replied, the urgency in his voice clear. "And now that you're involved, they'll come after you too. But together, we can expose the truth." The weight of Enrique's words was overwhelming, but Marta knew she couldn't back down. Something inside her said this was the path she had to take, that this was her chance to make a difference. "What do we need to do?" she asked, determined. Enrique revealed a small electronic device hidden beneath his clothes. "This contains all the information I've gathered. We need to take it to someone trustworthy, someone who can help expose this." Marta nodded, understanding the importance of the mission ahead of them. Together, they stood, ready to face whatever came their way. The tension in the air was palpable, but there was also a sense of hope, a promise that the truth would finally be revealed. As they left the building, Marta realized the night silence was no longer just an absence of sound. but a blank canvas where their actions would write the next chapter of their lives. The city, with all its lights and shadows, now seemed like a stage awaiting brave protagonists. And she was ready to play her part. As we reach the end of this journey, it is important to reflect on the path we have traveled together.
Throughout the video, we have explored concepts that have the power to transform lives, but the true magic happens when these concepts are applied in daily life. What brings an idea to life is the action we take from it. So how can we bring this transformation into our lives in a practical and meaningful way? First and foremost, it is essential to recognize that change begins within each of us. Personal transformation is an ongoing process that requires courage and a willingness to face our limitations and fears. The first practical action you can take is to dedicate a moment of your day to self-reflection. Ask yourself what truly matters, what your values are, and how you can align your daily actions with these values. This is the first step toward living a more authentic and fulfilling life. Next, remember the importance of resilience. Life is full of challenges and unexpected events, but it is our ability to adapt and grow in the face of adversity that defines our path. When you encounter difficulties, see them as opportunities for learning and growth. Cultivate the mindset that each obstacle is a chance to become stronger and wiser. Practice gratitude daily by recognizing the small victories and lessons learned along the way. Moreover, it is crucial to surround yourself with people who support your journey of personal growth. Build a network of positive and inspiring relationships that encourage your development. Share your experiences and insights with others, as this not only reinforces your own understanding, but can also inspire those around you to seek their own transformations. Another practical action is to set clear and achievable goals. Goals give us direction and purpose, helping us stay focused on what truly matters. Start with small steps, celebrating each achievement along the way. Remember that success is not a final destination, but a series of small victories accumulated over time. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. Finally, never underestimate the power of action. Even the smallest changes can have a profound impact when done consistently. Commit to taking a step toward your goals every day, no matter how small that step may seem. It is the sum of these daily actions that leads to true transformation. As we close this video, I want to extend an invitation to you. Why not take the first step today? Reflect on what you've learned here and choose a single action you can start implementing immediately. It could be a change of habit, a new perspective, or a decision you've been postponing. The important thing is to start. If this content resonated with you, if you found value or inspiration, I would like to ask you to like this video. Your support is crucial for us to continue producing content that transforms lives. If you feel comfortable, leave a comment, even anonymously. Your opinion is important to us and helps create a community where we exchange experiences and learn from each other. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Together, we can build a space of growth, learning, and mutual support. Transformation begins with a single step, and I am here to accompany you on this journey. Thank you very much for being with us until now. Move forward with courage and determination.